Hey there, Facebook. Just clicking the invite button here for a moment. Try and give people a chance to tune in case they're interested in hearing this morning's contribution that I have. You know, I don't really script these live streams out that much. I don't like sit down with a pencil and paper and, you know, write ideas or lines, or I don't figure things out very well. I just kind of let whatever comes through come through and just say what I'm thinking in the moment I'm thinking it. Kind of put these things out off the cuff. And one of my friends who I deeply respect suggested that I ought to, you know, take things to the next level and edit my videos, you know, really try and be more of a content creator necessarily, and less of just kind of someone who's ranting. But you know, for now, this is what I have to offer. So anyway, just invite a couple more people. Normally I don't invite my whole list. I just kind of get the very top part of the list and invite those folks. So apologize if you're not on the top of the invite list for whatever reason. But anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit today about nonviolent direct action. You know, there's a lot of people right now in this world that are uncomfortable with the condition of our country. And it's not just people inside of our country. People outside of the country, obviously, are also displeased with what's going on. So, you know, we have to start thinking about what are we going to do to make things better, and how are we going to go about it? Like, what are real, you know, effective steps that we can take to make this world better? Here, I want to show you guys this because it's important. Okay, you see that jacket right there? And then right here is a backpack. Now, normally, I would just say that I'm being paranoid, but having recently experienced the Corvallis Police Department, my guess is that's a bait backpack. Somebody put that out there to catch a thief. So just walk around here for a second, see if I can spot the spotting car. Anyway, you know, we want to do things that are peaceful, legal, and prayerful. We don't want to be out there in this world being violent and destructive and criminal. So, you know, one of the ways that I've been witnessing people affecting change peacefully, legally, and prayerfully is by doing tree sits. There's actually a number of tree sits happening right now across the country. There's a tree sit in Hudson Valley. There's a tree sit in, might be this guy right here. He's sitting in his pickup truck. But it's hard to say. There's usually more than one. Some geese flying over. But anyway, people are trying to affect change in a legal, nonviolent way. And one of the ways that people are doing that is through tree sits. Because if you're sitting in a tree and you have no weapons, then all you're really doing is just basically hanging out. And it's hard for police to construe a person sitting in a tree as being violent or a threat or somehow endangering society, themselves, or whatever kind of infrastructure. You know, police have to construe these types of activities as being potentially violent, potentially dangerous, potentially harmful somehow. So what they do is they lie. They lie about activists, and they lie consistently. And then the media repeats those lies, validating them and giving them a veil of believability, a veil of truth. So, what happens is we as activists have to figure out how we're going to remain nonviolent, nonviolent. And, they use violence against us. Like, they shoot us, they attack us with sound cannons, water cannons, they use secret police. And the police state is not going to dial back anytime soon. If anything, the police state is ramping up. And, they fabricate charges, they plant evidence. So we have to be really, really careful. If we're going to do direct actions, we have to be very thoughtful about it, and we have to, plan ahead and have a really strong core group that's dedicated to the same beliefs, the same actions that you are. Because what happens is that, like in the example of Red Fawn, the movement will be infiltrated by an FBI informant. And then that FBI informant will plant evidence. They'll plant drugs, they'll plant weapons. They manufacture evidence. One of the ways that's really commonly done is that law enforcement officer, plainclothes, will come in and suggest illegal behavior. The law enforcement officer will actually come in and suggest criminal behavior to try and get you to agree to it. And then once you agree to it, then they hold that against you in court in the future. So, one of the challenges facing the water protectors movement right now is we have to stay peaceful, we have to stay legal, and we have to stay prayerful. Because the moment that we cross that line away from peaceful, then they're totally justified in shooting us. They're totally justified in arresting us, in sending out special forces to kill us in our beds, whatever it is. And, we have to stay peaceful. And that's why I'm talking about these tree sits. Okay, so Hudson Valley Earth First allegedly went to a place where a pipeline's going and set up a tree sit in the path of the pipeline. And if you haven't been following those posts, I put them up pretty regularly, but there's people out there sitting in the pathway of the pipeline in trees, being peaceful. And that's the same approach that's happening in Camp White Pine. Camp White Pine allegedly is sitting in a tree, preventing the pipeline from going through by doing a nonviolent tree sit. So, things like that, where you're not hurting anyone, you're not endangering anyone, where all you're doing is basically just sitting there, it's really difficult for them to construe that as a threat. So, if you're feeling disempowered, if you're feeling like you don't have a voice, like you can't accomplish anything, then look at these people who are actually getting things done. They're actually stopping pipelines through direct action in a legal, nonviolent way. So, don't just go climb a tree. It takes training. It takes special equipment. It takes understanding of what goes into a tree sit. But that type of tactic is really effective. It's been used here in the Pacific Northwest quite a bit to stop logging, immoral, illegal logging. And, It's just one approach. But we need to start thinking about more ways to accomplish the goals that we have. We have to start thinking about more ways that we can affect the change that we know needs to happen. And if you look what's happening with the Mariner East pipeline in Lancaster, the state of Pennsylvania shut it down. They said, you cannot build anymore. You cannot build. You have violated the terms of your permit. You've endangered waterways. You've endangered people. You're not allowed to build anymore. But Energy Transfer Partners blew them off. Energy Transfer Partners is like, okay, take your no consent and go fuck off with it. I'll show you guys this because you might not get this, but it means something to me. Somebody put down tobacco right here. It's a thing. Somebody put down tobacco. So there's some people around here practicing good medicine. But, the pipeline companies are being criminal, okay? The DAPL was a criminal act. They didn't have their permits. They were acting without a environmental impact statement. They were violating treaty law. They, let the pipeline companies break the law. Let them be the violent people. Let them be the ones who are doing criminal acts and stay peaceful, prayerful, and legal. And let that be the benchmark of how you go out and approach these situations. Because as long as we're peaceful, prayerful, and legal, in my mind, we're doing the right thing. As soon as we start being violent, then all of their propaganda is justified. All of their lies are now the truth. And they're going to lie anyway, but we may as well make it difficult for them. So anyway, I just wanted to come on for a minute and put my words of support behind the people of the Hudson Valley Earth First movement, behind the people of Camp White Pine, behind the Cascade Forest Defenders, and all people who go and do tree sits to stop what they believe is wrong. If you think something is wrong and people shouldn't be doing it, and you're willing to put your body on the line, then my hat's off to you. Because, it's easy to feel disempowered. It's easy to feel like you don't have a voice and like you can't do anything. And when you look around and see people who are having a voice, who are doing things, it can be uplifting. It can really, really be uplifting. So, take some time, go over to the Camp White Pine page, take some time, go over to the Hudson Valley Earth First page, lend them some support. Show them some love. Look for their address. Send them a care package. Make a phone call on their behalf. But, do something. Do something. I just saw a post from a woman who I really respect, and she was asking, what have you done to protect Unchimaka today? And it's a lot of times it's hard to recognize it, but we have to do things on the daily to reaffirm the values that we hold, to reaffirm the truths that we believe, and to reclaim our power so we don't just feel like we're in a losing battle all the time. So with all that said, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you have a great rest of your day out there, and I will talk to you really soon.